Nothing else.
I live full-time in Florida, and weirdly, two out of 4 kids are moving down. So that's the coolest thing ever. I never knew they loved their mom that much.
That is a sign of a good mom when they want to, like JC was saying, when your kids say, oh, that's my mom and I'm proud of her, that's a good sign. When they want to move to you, that's real proof that they love you. Well, thanks for everyone for being on. And I know that there's going to be people joining us here, but we want to get this started. And we just came off an amazing, put a 1 in the chat if you were on the previous call with Dr. A and JC. That was epic, unbelievable. I'm super excited. I've been a fan of Nancy from the very first time I met her. She is the one who speaks with her heart on. She wears her heart on her sleeve. She keeps it simple and she keeps it fun. You know, the 3 things Dr. A has always said that makes you successful in this business is keep it fun, keep it simple, and keep it brief. And she does all of those things masterfully. And I love hearing her speak. I've been in many of her workshops. So many of you have, if you've ever been to conference or go global, or even on the national call, she's hosting many of them as well. She's built a huge business, started off in, I'll let her tell her story, but she started off in New York and with a beautiful job, that kind of career that she did in hairstyling. Now she's an independent businesswoman that is doing it big and changing people's lives all over the world. And we're so happy to have you. Thank you for joining, Nancy. Tell us a little bit about your journey. And I know one of the themes we talked about, you know, Dr. A and JC alluded to it, is like life is happening. Lots of stuff is happening to people. Sickness, death, jobs, changing, lots of transformation. But one of the themes that we ask you to focus on is how do you stay determined and persistent and like embrace those obstacles and find ways to like move through adversity. So start with telling us a little bit of your background and then kind of weave in and tell us what you give our coaches that need some, they need something to hold on to when the times get tough.
Oh, well, first of all, thanks for having me. This was a huge honor. So nice to see some of these faces I love and I know. And hi to everybody I don't know yet. Hopefully I get to see a convention. I can't believe it's next week. Can't believe it. I always get so excited for that. That's the highlight of the year. My story, I don't want to overshare because a lot of you probably already know my story, but in case you don't know, 10 years ago in February, I came down here to look for real estate because we were in the middle of possibly losing. My husband had to take a step back in the company, took a big pay cut just so that he could move to Pennsylvania to live with me. And then we started to really fall on hard times where we couldn't make our payments. We would delay things and we were in a bad way to the point where we were like, do we need to invent something? Do we go on? I don't even know if Shark Tank was a thing then, but my husband's like, maybe we could invent like, I don't know, a microwave for the car or something. And I'm like, that's a terrible idea. That'll flop horribly. So I did make an appointment with an Avon lady and that didn't happen. Because when we came down here to look for real estate, because it was cheaper, that's when somebody gave us tickets to Universal Studios and I didn't fit on a ride. And that moment was so painful after so many years of dieting and gaining it back a million times that I was just so done. You know, the moment when you're just done, you're sick of excuses, you're sick of addiction, you're sick of diets. You're like, who's in charge here? Like, stop this madness. And that's where, as painful as it was, I'm extremely grateful for that moment because that's when the plot twist came. That's when I took the pen and I changed my story. I called one of my hair clients and I said, I'm ready. Now, mind you, I'm that client that quit after a day. Okay. 5 months earlier, I didn't like the oatmeal and I sent all my food back. So every time I have a client that's a little bit frustrating, I just remember, oh, that was you. But you know what? The food didn't change. I changed. I was just ready. And at that moment, it was a decision. So I hopped on board, fell in love with the program. My attitude was just ready. You know, when you're ready to eat cardboard. Thankfully, we didn't have to. And within 3 weeks, I loved it. They actually started asking me to help them. So I became a coach after 3 months or 3 weeks. Didn't know much. I ended up just helping a few people and I didn't expect clients. I lost 54 pounds in 5 months. And here we are 10 years later. It's the coolest thing ever. To be able to say that, who knew a big butt could change thousands of lives? I mean, that's the way I chalk it up. It's like so many good things can come from a bad thing, right? So really, really grateful, really, really grateful. Do you want me to just keep talking, or are you interviewing me, Greg?
I think
You just
you're on a
answer?
roll. You're on a roll,
Oh.
rocket.
Okay. Well, all right. So Greg really wanted me to talk about grit and determination and what kept me going. Let me tell you, I am the girl that I didn't know how to copy and paste. I mean, it was bad. I called in every single order to Optavia. I didn't know how to work the internet, how to do anything. I did hair and I raised 4 kids, and I just had no experience with a computer or anything like that. I had a lot of mental, the loud roommate in the head stuff. I'm sure a lot of us can relate to that, but a lot of voice taking up way too much room in my head saying, who do you think you are? You're just the diet queen. You're just going to gain this back. And a lot of like, you can't be a leader. Don't ever publicly speak. You're going to flip around your words so bad. You're going to trip. In fact, why don't you grow this thing as far as you can go, but never publicly speak? That'd be awesome. Like as much financial freedom as you can get without being noticed, like just sort of slip under the radar. And that was my biggest goal, is to grow that far. And I thought that's probably maybe national, integrated national, but my goal was never global. And I remember in the early days, Dr. Anderson had me speak at a regional event and say, so what's your goal, Nance? You brought 16 people to this event. What's your goal? And I stood up and I said, global. I was lying through my teeth, but I thought that might make him happy. So I just said, and he's like, global. And I'm like, integrated presidential. And I really didn't mean it at all. So I was totally flat lying to him. But here's the thing. You just keep loving people, and you just keep having fun, and you keep gathering people in and having health and hope parties, and you keep sharing, and you teach people what to say when their friends notice, and you just celebrate the heck out of people. And when you lead with a spirit of gratitude, and you never forget where you came from, and you're wildly enthusiastic about how this has completely changed your life, you start collecting wins, and you start to do things brave. I can't say without fear, ever. I'm scared to be here with you guys, but you just do it anyway, because there's people that need what you have. And so I would dare say that it was scary. Each rank, I got more and more excited. Back in the day, our Connect was actually called Office in Motion. And across the top, you would collect smiley faces for each rank you were. And I remember seeing all of them out there. And as I collected new smiley faces, I'm like, wow, that means more people are being helped. Wow, more people are being helped. And I just wanted to collect the smiley faces. And then global. And I was like, wait a minute. This is surreal. And I know it's not about rank, but if I can do that, presidential's just doing what I did again. Like, get out of your head, get out of your way. What happens if you keep helping people? Now, I was wildly thrilled with that. I was thrilled with the income. It was like way more than I had ever seen in my life. And I didn't expect it. And I was grateful, and I could pay my bills. But I kept thinking, but more people need to feel like this. It wasn't so client focused anymore as it was about more people need freedoms from their hamster wheel jobs. More people need freedom to be able to stay home with their children. When my daughter got engaged, her fiance, not yet fiance, called me up and said, hey, you want to watch your little girl get engaged and come down to Disney World? And I'm like, yeah. Now, I remember I couldn't afford to go to Disney World a few years ago. And I actually took a timeshare tour so that we could take my kids to Disney. And They put us up in a horrible hotel where there's a mushroom growing in our carpet so that we would buy a timeshare. So to be able to just drop of the hat, be able to go down to Disney because I could, I'm thinking more people need to feel this. So I'm going to keep on going. Now, along the way, there's a lot of disappointment. And along the way, there's a lot of hurt. Two of my dearest friends, they were doing great in the company. They were integrated regionals. They walked away. And I'm like, did I lose friendships here? I remember being so rattled to the core when two what I thought were rising leaders that I would do life with forever, just this business wasn't for them. And I remember having heart palpitations so hard, beating so far out of my chest, thinking, I better see a specialist. And I had an EKG done because I thought something was wrong, but it was stress. And I remember talking to Charlene Green at convention saying, am I building a house of cards here? Like people just walk away? And she said, no. Do you ever take your foot off the pedal? And I said, no. Then you're always creating new. And I remember thinking, oh, so that's the way this thing works. Just keep going, right? So when I would get somewhere and I thought the scenery was really pretty as I was climbing a mountain, I kept thinking this is gorgeous and I can't believe I'm here looking at this view. But then I was like, but what's up there? And isn't that being above the line, being open and curious? It scared the living crap out of me, but what happens if I keep going? So I was afraid of leadership. I was doubtful because of the game of comparison. I mean, how do you put yourself in the same arena with these amazing, fierce leaders in the company? And here I am, but you keep going. And so what happens is you start to build confidence with these wins. You start to build confidence and it becomes conviction because you know you have the goods. You know what you have changes lives. You become confident because of time, of experience. And with every pain point, every obstacle that Dr. A loves to talk about, on the other side of that is so much growth. You build like a stronger muscle. Don't you have to rip muscles down first before you can grow a stronger muscle? my analogy is probably not really good, but that's sort of how it happens. Like you get stronger with each trial. And I kept thinking, geez, it gets a little windy up at the top, like your volume can just go down a lot faster than it used to, but you keep going and you keep creating new. And some of the best, most amazing people in my life now, people I didn't even know 2 years ago, So, I mean, that's sort of what happens. And I don't want anybody to think that you have to be this amazing extrovert. You don't have to be a woman. This business can be for anybody, male, female, shy, introvert, extrovert, young, old. But you better get used to doing some of the head work. And you stay connected with a community that loves you and claps for you. And you stay connected with people that are what you think is better than you, more experienced than you. And you keep realizing that we're all the same. I would have little gatherings at my house. And I would, when COVID hit, now at this point, I had a little beach house. So I would, during COVID, have little groups of people come to my house at the beach house, and we would have an overnighter. And we would just share openly our long version of our story. And we became very tight. And I would have little clusters of coaches all summer long, and we had a wonderful time. And nobody got COVID, which is very cool. Can't say I recommend that. That was probably a little risky. But what I uncovered that summer is how when people bring their walls down and they share, We all have fear. It's all about what do you do with it? Because you can let that stop you and cripple you, and you're all about yourself. Or you can put it aside and think of the other guy and remember how they're hurting and how you have the goods and have complete confidence in that and do it anyway. But what happened was when I'd had all these intimate conversations with coaches, I realized, wait, I thought I was the only one with my insecurities. Wait, all you guys do too. It was amazing. The pain points. I uncovered everything from abuse, addictions, things like abortion, things like rape, things like alcoholism, and horrible things people had become overcomers through, things that were real big pain points for them. And they have come through the other side, but they kept it to themselves like this was their big, deep, dark secret. And they alienated themselves thinking they were alone. But creating a safe place with people, I realized we're all the same. We all have it. It's just, what do you choose to do with it? So when you are discouraged, that's when you call your mentor. That's when you realize with full gratitude how your life has changed. You cannot be negative and fearful and in a state of comparison and grateful at the same time. You can't. So what I've noticed is when I'm in that scary space where I feel like I'm not enough, or just the other week, I had a Fibbick walk away. What do you do with that? You flip it to gratitude. You flip it to gratitude. I am not who I was. And what I have in my hands is so precious. Is it ever an option to not do this? Absolutely not. Somebody said, well, what are you going to do when you retire? I'm like, who's retiring? I'm 56. I am not even ever thinking I would do this with my last breath. Why? Because it's a moral obligation. When you've been freed, you want to free people. And what I do is way too important to ever quit. And I could say, you know what? I'm happy where I am. But I could also say, I can always be better. More people need this. And just keep going. So that's some of my thoughts. It's a decision. It's not optional. Read the books, do the podcasts, work on yourself, get mentorship, and build community where you're stronger. And that's pretty much, I don't know, that's what I got for you, Greg. I don't know if you have any questions or if anybody else wanted to, but that's sort of my story in a nutshell. I'm so grateful and kind of surprised, but amazed at what's possible when you get out of that stupid comfort zone that's not comfortable. Can I talk to that for a minute? Because is it really comfortable if you're always wondering what's outside of your box? What if there's a better life out there, what if? Then where I'm sitting is not comfortable. It's familiar. It's not comfortable because I'm always wondering if there's greatness out there. So I don't believe in it being a comfort zone. I believe in it being a familiar zone. And quite frankly, it's kind of exciting to see what else is out there and what I haven't uncovered yet. I'm just getting started. So.
Oh my gosh, Nancy, that was so perfect. I'm so glad you said yes to this invitation. I think this is exactly what I need. I'm seeing the people in the chat saying this is exactly what I need to hear. One thing that stood out to me that I'd like to do a better job. I know there's, been this kind of a movement towards fake it till you make it. And especially with social media, always putting on your good face and this, showing all the highlights and the best parts. But what I heard here is like when you dropped into gratitude for where you were, it made it very easy for you to hold and create a safe space for everyone else to share and to let them wear their heart on their sleeves the way you do. And that sounded like it really transformed your collective team and that community that you have with your team. And so I really honor that. I want to make that a place for our team that they can feel safe to do what Nancy did today is to share the good, the bad, and the ugly. We've all been through crap, right? But it's like that resilience that we heard on tonight's call is like becoming that dominant force of your life. How do you do that? You don't do it from avoiding conflict and challenge. You lean into it, but you lean in from gratitude, right? Not from like, woe is me, or why is this happening to me, but gratitude. And then you can bring people along in that community. The tribe will hold you up, right?
100%. And you know what? I was almost afraid to go there with telling my story one more time, but that's to my point. Never, ever think other people aren't excited to hear your story. Like that is uniquely yours. And I don't know. I mean, people fluff over things like, oh, you already heard it. And I almost did that tonight. And I'm like, no, maybe somebody here needs to hear a piece of that. That's something that's so important, that you never glaze over your story, because there's something in there that someone needs to hear. And there is no shame in that past. Yeah. I got married as a 16-year-old. Yep. I had a husband cheat on me. Yep. I got married a second time. Oh, and guess what? I got married a third time, right? I had an abusive drug addict mother. Like there's so many things that I could have just stayed back and played small and shrink back, but everybody has something. And that's uniquely part of my story that made me exactly who I am. And if you can use a pain point or something painful from your past to have a special empathy to help somebody else, then it's a gift. It might be in really ugly wrapping paper, but it's still a gift. Whatever it is you're going through, that's your biggest obstacle right now. So just keep going. So absolutely. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much. Can't wait to see you. Give you a big hug at National Convention. Those of you that are going to be virtual, you'll probably be seeing her on, are you going to be speaking this year?
I am an online host for Friday morning. So geez, talk about nervous and hoping you don't trip over words. It's got to be kind of like, thinking on your feet. So we'll see how that
that'll
goes.
be fun. That'll be fun. We love you. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow night on your team call.
Yes, he's going to pay me back, and now he's going to talk to my team. I love it.
Thank you so much again. And those of you that would love to stay on, we have a few more minutes, couple updates. First, we want to do, as we always do every month, recognize
Thank you, Nancy.
our rank ups.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye,
Nancy.
guys.
Put a big chat, put a big love in the chat. Blow it up for Nancy. We had a bunch of rank ups this month. We had a global director on her second month, a new executive director, all the listing here. Anyone on your team, please let them know. We really appreciate their work. And those of you that are on the call, especially the newer coaches, the senior coaches, congratulations. That first milestone of senior coach and then moving on to executive director. Those are the building blocks of this business. As we finish up the call, there's a couple announcements. There's, like I said, a lot of things happening. One of the biggest things that's happening right now that a lot of people are loving and diving head first into, and they're cranking up. The people that I'm seeing having the biggest growth are getting on the morning power hours. I just put the link in the chat here. The morning powers is a way for you to really get your word out, get your language down, make friends, talk to people, start conversations, and move them to the phone. Also, you'll see the Wellness Master Calendar, the Wellness RX Master Calendar. And if you click on that Google Doc, it'll have a listing of all the different events that we have. We have events with Dr. A once a month, the Conscious Leadership event. Every Monday morning, we have an event with Dr. A as well for our leaders, EDs, FIBCs, national directors, and globals. Now that's going to be changing a lot of stuff. We're going to get a lot of new updates when we get to National Convention. So we're kind of like holding our breath to see what is, come down the pipe. Is going to be new products? Is there going to be new tools? Is there going to be a new schedule? So some of these things we're going to have to be flexible. So we are going to be doing on August 1st, a debrief. We're going to kind of do a harvest. What were our biggest takeaways? It's going to be a 1-hour call. It's going to end just after, like tonight, as soon as the national call is over, we're going to jump on that call together and we're going to share our takeaways. But we're also going to give you updates on all the new things that are happening. So make sure you and your team, whether you're there virtual or live, get on that call. We'd love to hear your takeaways. We'd love to hear your stories. We're going to also recognize all of our rank ups for the year, because we do monthly rank ups, which is what I just posted, but we also have our annual rank ups. So we're going to recognize the annual rank ups. Many of you that are ranked up ED or global, and since the last one, you may have got a little surprise from Whitney and I. So look in the mail if you haven't got it yet. It's coming soon. That's our little thank you gift. And then the other thing I wanted to say is, Pat, there's a couple things that you've been really focused on. Could you give us a few updates from your perspective? I think the one thing was the Monday night call, a new format, and then also what we might be doing for the online folks.
Okay, great. Well, Monday night call, you will get, hopefully you were on the first one. It's 45 minutes now, as Greg mentioned, one call. We're calling it Optimal Health Community Time. It's for all clients, all coaches, all prospects. Invite everybody. And we are going to live stream it into our coach groups as well as our client creating health group. So every Monday night, the second Monday of the month, and this is because this Wednesday, this week is the last Health and Hope night that Optavia Corporate is doing. So moving forward, just as it was tonight, the second Monday of the month, on this Monday night field-led event is going to be a trilogy type call where somebody will speak and then you'll hear some stories. But every Monday, it's the same Zoom as we've been using since for a long time. So that's the Monday night call. And watching Team Wellness and any of your team groups for details. On the live stream, I am thrilled and blessed to be with Whitney Kell, another one of our fearless leaders, to be hosting the convention live. Many of us have registered. By registering for convention, you will have the recordings. For coaches, since first, convention registration is only live stream for $49. But Whitney and I are going to be hosting. So what does that mean? It means it's going to be a Zoom just like this, where we will share our screen so everyone can see what's going on in Atlanta. So we can come together as a group for live stream. Now, what's really important, and Whitney says we're going to have a pre-party and an after party. And
it's on this Zoom. It'll be on this Zoom number.
Greg's Zoom number that we are expanding. Thank you, Greg. To 500 people. Invite everybody. Invite all of your clients, especially Thursday night. It starts at 7 o'clock Eastern. So invite them to come early. We're probably going to open at least 30 minutes early, open our Zooms. You don't have to register for Whitney now. You just have to show up. And we will, listen, we're going to have some fun. So send them to meet us. Invite your clients, invite your prospects. I mean, and they can come back Friday and Saturday. And believe me, we're going to invite them. We're going to show them the schedule. And we're going to invite them. Because you know what? You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. And what if on Thursday night, they hear something and that triggers, stirs something within them and says, I want to hear more. Boom.
And let's let Dee bring us home with how to invite.
Well, Whitney just added that we do have a Facebook event for the live stream. Thanks.
Okay.
I forgot about that.
And we'll get that out. We'll post that on Team Wellness. But Dee, tell us what you guys have been brainstorming on your team about who to invite, how to invite, and then we'll give them the links and all that later.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. So like Pat said, we want to invite all of our coaches and all of our clients to participate in the convention. And there's always, there's sometimes that reluctance to register because somebody's going to be on vacation, because they're not sure they're going to be able to show up for the events or whatever it is. And the clients, my own feeling is we don't need our clients to register for the convention. We want them to experience this gift. So to get on Thursday night, it's 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We want our clients to show up on Thursday night. It's going to be Dr. Anderson going over the mission of what we're doing, and they don't have to register. So it's this Zoom, and we'll put it out on our Facebook business pages. I personally am going to send out an e-card email blast to all of my clients, active and inactive.
From Optavia Share.
Yeah, on Optavia Share, because you never know. And then also every Monday, I, send out a text blast to remind my clients and I call them my baby coaches about the Monday calls. So I'm going to do that ahead of time for the Thursday, session of convention. And then if you've got some coaches on the fence, maybe they're brand new, maybe they're really struggling financially, they're just getting started, invite them to join us on the live stream, which will be, again, this Zoom. And then my own feeling is that, and I don't know this for sure, but I suspect that once the convention is over, that the company will offer, for those that did not register, the opportunity to register after the fact and be able to have the recordings going forward, like they did for the last event in Dallas. But we want people to show up. Let's get a lot of lives changed. And
Amen. Thank you, Dee. Thank you, Pat. Thanks, everyone, for participating. I will just want to say one last thing. We are working on a graphic that we could use so that you could post it on social media that would have the information summarized that you could send out to clients and coaches and get them excited for the virtual experience. And MJ is helping us with that. And on a note of MJ, many of you know MJ. She's been with us for 12 years. She has been the quarterback and our virtual assistant for Team Wellness. Something really wonderful happened in her life. She's moving and she got the job offer of her life. I don't know, many of you don't know that she is actually a certified lawyer, attorney. And she got an offer to not only become an attorney in this firm, but eventually become a partner and maybe take over the firm from a guy who's about ready to retire. She's so heartbroken that she's going to be leaving us, but she's got to do what's right for her family. She's still going to be part of our family. She always will. But I just wanted to let you know, if you could drop a little love, send her a message, maybe on Facebook, if you follow her, she posts the funniest things with her kids and those little, what's that guy, the little elf that she does. She's just hilarious. But let her know that we love her and appreciate her, and we're sending her off with well wishes. And I want to thank all of you for being here tonight. I am excited to get the recording from Dr. A. I love the new format. I think they knocked it out of the park. I'm excited to get the recording for this. We'll be posting it on Team Wellness. So if any of your coaches missed this call, you'll be able to get it to them. And we're excited to see you guys online or in person at the convention. Any last thoughts, Pat? You look like you're leaning through the call.
Well, Power Hour Recordings now has a password, because they changed it up. It doesn't just go to a sheet where they got to post every day. So I put it in the chat. It's real easy. PH for Power Hour. It started in the year 2020. So PH 2020 exclamation. But I will also post that in Team Wellness. So just added that right after you put the recording link. Great.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so I'll make a little post in the Power Hours have been amazing. Put
a 2 in the chat if you guys are loving, any of you that have been on the Power Hour and it's helping you grow your business.
Me.
I am loving it. I think it's one of the best things I've done in a lot of years. All right. Well, thanks again, everyone, for being on. We love you. Can't wait to see you online or in person in a few weeks. And let's keep rocking and rolling. Our next Team Wellness will be the August 1st event. It'll be a little extended because we're going to do not only recognitions and takeaways, but we're also going to give you all the updates for anyone who missed it. So love you guys. Have a great night. And let's all go out and be the dominant force in our life and learn how to organize our life around what's most important to us. Love you guys.
Love you guys. Bye-bye.